Oh, so I'm going to go on and move on to something else that's nerdy. Comic books. I never got into comic books because I never understood why a comic book would be so expensive just because somebody drew Spider-Man in the front of it. Blows my fucking mind to think. Well, then again, maybe it's because I was born with computers. I think comic books should only have been popular before computers, because after computers, you could just download the shit, right? Comic books is a misnomer. That's not the right way to describe it, because I've had a comic book, right, every once in a while, and then it took me 15 minutes to read it, and I'm like, $9.99 for this. And what's even worse, like inside there's advertisements. How can it be expensive? Like, how are you gonna buy an Iron Man comic book for $10 million, and then when you go to page 12, there's a Wrigley's gum advertisement? A comic book is something that you buy to get lied to. And you know what's even worse about comic book Vikes? One thing that really irks me about the Marvel universe, the DC universe, and all that shit is the fact that the storylines that you say you enjoy so much in comic books, the storylines, they change. There's like 18 different Jokers. Why? Which Joker do you like? How are you gonna have 18 different characters in 18 different universes doing 18 different storylines? That's whack. I try to go in there as an outsider trying to understand the Marvel universe, and I'm like, I don't get this shit. You know which one I don't get? I saw the Venom trailer recently, Let There Be Carnage, right? Yeah, I know a little bit. I saw the Venom trailer. So what, Venom is a good guy now? Explain that. You know where they can't do that? They can't do that in Star Wars. The fan base is just too strong. The fan base in Star Wars will go out and fucking riot if you ever do anything like The Last Jedi ever again. Did you see what happened when they came out with that bullshit that was The Last Jedi? Now, I'm a Star Wars fan. Now, to add more to this podcast, I am still a Star Wars fan. All right, you Marvel people, you comic book people, all right, you nerds, you guys allowed it to happen. And now, look at you. You got Batman dying 12 different ways. When it comes to nerding, in middle school and in high school, I was really into video games and anime. I was that guy. But I was into all that stuff before it was popular. Now, society accepts this. I don't know what's going on, but back in my day, if you were into video games and or anime, you had mental illness. And I thought something was wrong with me, right? So in my high school, in my middle school, maybe a few people, right? Maybe a few people. But when you looked around, you saw the people that were into this kind of stuff, you started realizing it's like, oh, I'm hanging out with the wrong crowd. I'm not gonna go anywhere here, right? This isn't a way of living. So I gave up on it. I mean, I still play video games every now and then. When I was into video games and anime and all that, it was unacceptable. At least where I was brought up. It was totally unacceptable. You were considered a weirdo. Bro, and now I go online, right? I go on the TikTok, I go on Instagram Reels, and this shit is now a thing, but it's so acceptable that it's not even considered nerdy anymore. Like a trend where you're just creative. Oh, really? You built your own cosplay outfit? You're so creative, right? Back then, if someone built their own cosplay outfit, they'd be like, what happened?